Hey everyone, this is a quick video to show you how to be able to record yourself playing freestyle on a MIDI instrument without playing to a metronome, playing fairly in time, and from that keep the human feel and tighten up all the timings. It's using something called a tempo track. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to use it like this, but I discovered it and it's really useful. And what that will mean is that you'll be able to keep all your MIDI events and continue editing your track while keeping things much more in time, or tighten up the timings without losing the human feel too much. So first thing is I'm going to play a little something freestyle, nothing too fancy. Okay, so that's the first thing, and if we just inspect that, we shall see that it is not in time with the grid. You can see there, so that's the first thing. Now from that we're going to create a tempo track, but before we do that we have to disable all effects on it just to make sure we've got a dry signal. Let's remove that, that's not being used. Let's turn that off, and on this channel turn off any effects I've got, and if we hear that again it should be dry. Okay, great. And then what we'll do is export that as audio. You may have other ways of doing this. If you've got more than one track, it might not be possible to do this without muting all your other instruments, but that's fine. In this case, I'm just going to export this as audio. I have to do it in real time because I've got an external effects unit, and yeah, it's just easier for me, so I may fast forward this. Okay, that's great. So now I've got the audio file there. It's gone into the audio folder of the project. Just drag that into the project here, which will automatically create an audio track. Make sure it starts at the very beginning, so you can see everything, all the MIDI notes line up with the audio, because that's basically it's exactly what's just been played. So from this we're going to create a tempo track, and what that does is it basically finds where the start of the beats are, what the time signature is, and everything, and it builds a tempo track like this. From that, if I put that at the top, now if I go into here, you can see it's aligned it fairly well with the grid now, but it hasn't changed the timing at all. It hasn't quantized it, so it's left all the human feel, and you can almost see this tempo track as a representation of human feel. Now if I want to tighten up the timings, I can basically select the whole thing, and you see this little square here. If you drag that, it compresses it. Now you see it's changing the time there, it's shrinking these elements here. That's not exactly what I want. There's two modes here. You've got a musical mode and a linear mode, and for this particular way of doing things you want the linear mode, so let's switch that on for both the tracks that we care about. Now I can basically tighten up the timings while still keeping the human feel, and I can do it as much as I like. So I could go all the way, so it's basically like as if it's a 100% quantized. Okay, so very slow BPM, you can see 125 BPM there. In fact, another useful thing you've got here is you can actually have multiple tempo tracks. So let's keep the original, call that version 2, and you can switch between them, so then you can work on one while keeping the other, and you can copy between the two as well. So now let's quantize this by 50%, because all of the human feel is basically in that tempo track now. So we can bring this, okay, let's not overdo it, let's say do 50%, bring it closer to snap it to the grid. But that's fine. So let's put the effects back on, listen to it. speed it up a bit. You can do all sorts of things as well, so like you can slow it down, so you can do that if you want. And it's just a great way to work. Totally different to completely just using, like trying to play in time to a metronome and then quantizing it. I don't know, I find this just gives you much more control over how you change or remove the feel of human playing. Whereas quantize, I don't know, it just always feels really, I don't know, stale when you use it. Even like when you use the percentages, it's just, and you've got to get so close to being in time. Whereas this, you just don't have to care. You can just freestyle play. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, not sure what else to say about that really. Hopefully you found this helpful, and click the thumbs up and subscribe button if you did. Thanks.